John Madrid with Move In Next on this Topic Tuesday. Sorry if it's a little echoey, but it's all good. También les quiero recordar que hablamos español, ahora es martes, y vamos a hablar del tema de los precios básicos a los precios donde nomás se mueven directamente a la casa. Okay, guys, so on this Topic Tuesday, we are making it a point to keep it shorter. So today's topic, or part one of part two, we're going to talk about base price versus turnkey price, right? Because there's always a difference. So if you guys are shopping for homes, you may notice that it'll say, like, as low as blank, and then other prices may seem higher. That's not necessarily the the point or the purpose of that, but we're going to go over that. So go ahead and switch to the next slide, Bella. Okay. So right here it'll talk about base price versus turnkey ready. So when we're talking about that, again, the base price, before you switch over, Bella, don't switch yet. Base price essentially just means the price of the house before it leaves anywhere, which we're going to have a few slides talking about that. También les quiero recordar, cuando te miran precios que se miran bien bajos, muchas veces solamente es el precio de la casa antes de que hagan lo que sea. Y hay diferentes cosas que se pueden ser o incluir. So hay muchas veces por eso que se miran los precios diferentes. All right, guys, just making it a point because we're going to keep it under 10 minutes on these Topic Tuesdays and all of our podcasts. The main difference between a base price and then a combination between a turnkey ready and the different options that are available. So let's go ahead and shoot over to the next slide. Okay, so right here, she put a good example of a double wide and it says 82065. So base price, for example, it says base price equals price of the home sitting at the lot or the factory. So también lo voy a decir en español. So ahorita que miras esa foto dice 80,000 o 82,065 dólares. Eso, por ejemplo, si miras algo así, es porque es el precio de la casa en la fábrica o en el lote antes de que hagan lo que sea. All right, guys, so reiterating. Base price is literally if you walk into a dealership of whatever kind and they tell you this home starts as low as, it's literally the price of the home sitting right there because every single customer wants a different combination of things. So let's slide to the next one and we'll kind of go over what that is. Okay. So turnkey essentially is you're just moving in, you're not having to do anything. So right there it says includes all the necessities to move into your new home. So, for example, of course, you need the house. You need it delivered and set up and tied down to state code. Everybody wants AC. Everybody, well, I say everybody has to have water, sewer, and electricity connected for their house to work and function properly. And at the very minimum, you need some temporary steps. So, before we switch to the next slide, turnkey means you just move in right into your house. That's how we like to specialize the houses so that you're not having to call your brother, sister, mother, aunt, cousin, uncle, or anything like that to ask for a favor for them to help you move in because there's not going to be anything left for you to do. But let's go ahead and slide to the next one so we can kind of go over that. So, a standard package, right? So, your base package is going to include, of course, your base price of the home, delivered, blocked, leveled, and tied down. Most dealers will include up to a specific mileage 50, 75, maybe 100 miles. They'll include the AC, they'll install it, and they'll put you at least some temporary steps so that you don't have to fly or float into the house. Okay. An upgraded package, which again is a version of the, let's just say, not even the turnkey, but I want to talk about that there's mix and matches. So, an upgraded package, for example, is obviously always going to include the house. It's still going to include delivery setup. It's still going to include the AC. But instead of going with temporary steps that are only going to last you maybe 30, 45 days, you can upgrade to fiberglass or we can build you some custom decks 4x4, 6x4. We can make it as big or as small as you want. Now, also skirting, there's vinyl, there's metal, and then there's smart panel. So, again, every customer is different. Also, depending on which community you go into, like for example, we have a few homes in a few spots available in Stonegate. Because it's in the city of Midland, it's required for it to be smart panel skirting. You can't do metal or vinyl. But again, if you're not in a restrictive zone, you're able to mix, match. And again, that can fluctuate the price. It doesn't change the base price of the home. It doesn't change the delivery and set or the AC. But of course, temporary steps, we normally just give those to you for free. Fiberglass, which are permanent, a little bit more. And then, of course, custom decks are, depending on which ones you go with, can cost a little bit extra. But the banks let you finance all that in. Now, with skirting, vinyl, which is essentially a thicker plastic, is going to last you. But if you weed eat it, it's going to bust. Metal's going to last pretty much forever. But again, metal doesn't maybe not look it nice. I'm not saying that it doesn't. And then smart panel is the same material that the house is made out of most of the times, and it's going to be painted to match. Okay, let's move on to the next. All right. So again, you can contact us. That was pretty easy. So base price versus turnkey. So of course, you can call or text us at 432-201-1105. My direct email is john@moveinnext.com. Joe Angels is joeangel@moveinnext.com. You can go to our website, which is just www.moveinnext.com. Follow us on Facebook and obviously YouTube, Instagram. I want you to go back one. Go back a slide. Let's see here. Got to go back one slide. Okay, boom. So upgraded package. So another thing that I want to talk about is the utility connections. Those are super important, right? You got water, sewer, and electricity connections. So we're going to do a different, well, actually I say a different. In part two, we'll go more into the type of 200 amp service you have, the type of water drops and the sewer connections, things like that. But we don't want you to, if you see our pricing, sometimes it may appear, go ahead and go to the closing remarks screen. Ok, so les quiero recordar también, les voy a hablar también en español, que si miran los precios de nosotros, a lo mejor que muchas veces se miran más altos comparado a otros, no es eso, es porque ya le estamos incluyendo todo, más para que se mueven y pues de verdadmente, literalmente, nomás se tienen que prender la luz y moverse ahí. All right, guys, so I want to make it a big point. On these Topic Tuesdays, we're educating you on the differences between us and, let's say, someone else. If you see our prices and they appear higher, it's not that they're higher. It's just we typically quote turnkey, move in ready, which means that you already got your home delivered, set, AC, skirting, water, sewer, electricity connections at a minimum, fiberglass steps, if not decks. Okay. But next Tuesday, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the differences. And I say the differences, what goes into them. We'll show you a couple different examples of what vinyl skirting looks like, metal skirting looks like, the smart panel skirting looks like, what temporary steps look like, what fiberglass steps look like, and also what some decks look like. So again, Topic Tuesdays, we're going to talk about things that have to do, maybe questions you have, like why do the prices vary so much between dealerships? And again, we've done some episodes about entry level, mid level, luxury level, things like that. So there's a lot of factors. So we're here to not only, help you move in next, but also educate you on making the right decisions. So hopefully this week, I think tomorrow we're going to shoot a walkthrough Wednesday. Hopefully I said it right. And then podcast Thursdays. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing, location live Fridays. Okay. So again, on this Topic Tuesday, we discussed base price versus turnkey upgraded package, the different choices you got. And next Tuesday, we'll go into those specifics and actually show you some differences. So again, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, share, comment, follow, but most importantly, click that link at the top and make sure that you apply so we can get you that max approval with the minimum down payment. We'll see you next time. Thanks.